What if I were to tell you that the powers we trust to keep our society safe was a gang of criminals? Would you instantly jump to defend them because you believe they can do no wrong? Or would it not surprise you based upon what you've heard about police in recent years? Regardless of where you stand, it is my duty today to convince you with this speech that the LAPD has what are known to be deputy gangs operating inside of them. You might be wondering, why am I the right person for this topic? And to that I would say it's because I have white privilege. When you have a privilege, it conditions you to not recognizing the flaws within the structures that don't directly attack you. I would say that our police structure in America attacks people of color almost every single day. I want to challenge the way that I think, just because I've never had a negative interaction with a police officer myself, to recognizing the real issues that go on. You might also be wondering, why is this an important speech for you to listen to? And to that I would say, it's because if the LAPD, one of the largest and most heavily watched police departments, can get away with this corrupt behavior, shouldn't you be concerned with what your local departments can be getting away with too? Now, before we get into the evidence of the LAPD actually having deputy gangs operating within them, I'm going to be breaking this evidence down into three parts. And that's going to be, what are deputy gangs and some of the recent evidence that's come out against the LAPD for having them. Also going to be discussing former LAPD officer Rosa Gonzalez's statement to the New Yorker. And lastly, we're going to be discussing the documents from the DA's office of LA County discussing the murder of Anthony Vargas. Now, to begin with what deputy gangs are pretty much just when a relationship is shared between a person on the police force and a person in a gang. And this is done so they can both get mutual power from one another. And these basically happen with terrorist groups that are domestic, gangs, motorcycle gangs, hate groups, all kinds. And some of the recent evidence against LAPD showing that they have ties to deputy gangs within their department comes from an investigation that was launched as of March of this year. An NPR article by Jacqueline Diaz from March 25th, 2022 about the investigation stated that, quote, 41 members of LAPD were identified as being tattooed members of either the Bandidos or Executioners motorcycle gangs. These are known to be, end quote, these are known to be two of the most dangerous gangs in the world. Diaz also states in the article that the sheriff of the LAPD, Alex Villanova, is, quote, non-compliant in turning over needed documents for the investigation. Someone who happened to serve under Alex Villanova that I mentioned earlier was Rosa Gonzalez, who, like I said, served for the LAPD for 10 years, and she also firmly believes that deputy gangs are a real thing within LAPD. In an article by the New Yorker titled "The LA County Sheriff's Deputy Gang Crisis" by Dana Goodyear, Rosa Gonzalez said that she was told to, quote, pay attention and she will see who's really in charge, end quote. Goodyear also reported on someone by the name of Rosa Gonzalez in this article. Goodyear states that, quote, while Gonzalez was working at the department, she encountered a woman named Guadalupe Lopez who was being trained by an alleged member of the Bandidos on the force. Guadalupe launched a lawsuit accusing him and his associates of sexually harassing her and leaving a dead rat by her car to make her stay quiet. The county ended up settling with Guadalupe for $1.5 million, end quote. Gonzalez, in my opinion, is a direct source from the inside of the behavior and atrocities going on within the LAPD and their deputy gangs. She is credible for her statement given her background within the LAPD, in my opinion. The District Attorney's Office of LA County's website states that, quote, Anthony Vargas was murdered after being shot 13 times by 2 deputies. Another article, in a CBSN interview, a whistleblower has claimed that the Bandidos consider a shooting to be brownie points with them. Something that is important to note is that Vargas's family members in certain interviews had claimed that he was never the person to carry a type of gun on him. They specifically said in the CBSN interview he was not the type to carry a gun on him, despite the police report saying he was armed. Vargas's family and many others believe that the weapon may have been planted on him by the 2 officers who were alleged to be Bandidos members because they wanted to shoot him to gain gang notoriety. In my opinion, it is clear to see that these accusations are very serious and they are not just one. These accusations are crowdsourced and they are about very serious things. In my opinion, this was never a conspiracy, and my heart goes out to all those who were affected by this department's horrible mistakes within their deputy gangs.